Garou wakes up in the dirt, broken, bleeding, and confused he's even still alive. His body's wrecked, but something deep inside him refuses to die. As his strength claws its way back, the Hero Association scrambles to launch a desperate strike on the monster base, unaware that Garou's already there, standing between a terrified child and a sadistic killer. One punch won't save the day this time. Only Garou's rage will. If you love dark twists, epic fights, and Garou's rise from villain to anti-hero, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. More insane. One Punch Man recaps drop every week. Garou slowly comes to after taking a major L. His brain is running highlight reels of the beatdown. It's like a replay of the whole scene in his head. He realizes he's been lying there unconscious for a while. As he pushes himself up, he remembers how he lost to that monster but can't quite wrap his head around why he's still alive. The image of the kid he tried to protect pops up, and he wonders if those monsters actually let him go. Oddly enough, he notices that his bleeding has stopped, and his clothes are stuck to the wounds. No time for an existential crisis, though. Priority number one is making sure nothing starts leaking again. Suddenly, his body starts reacting, and he feels his power kicking back in. His muscles bulk up, his veins tighten, and little by little his strength is returning. Meanwhile, over at the Hero Association, Child Emperor is working non-stop to pinpoint where the Monster Association's base is hiding. The signal is weak and jumpy, but he's getting closer bit by bit. Second Gall walks in and immediately starts talking about the progress. He mentions that Tornado is pushing them to hurry it up. The whole investigation feels endless and risky. Second Gall points out that most of the S-Class heroes aren't in great shape. Tank Top Master and Metal Bat are still recovering in the hospital, and Drive Knight's whereabouts are still a mystery. Watchdog Man and Metal Knight are expected to show up soon, but there's no sign of them yet. Child Emperor thinks it's a bad situation since they don't have anyone solid available right now. Zombie Man is already on his way to the operation site by himself. Still no word from Silver Fang, Demon Cyborg, or King, but they're hoping to include them since they need every S-Class hero they can get for this mission. Child Emperor shares that he's been doing some digging on Demon Cyborg too. Turns out Genos is living in the ghost town of City Z, which is also where they think the Monster Association's base is located. Even Genos' hometown has vanished from the map. He wonders if that sounds suspicious to Second Gall. Second Gall points out that a lot of heroes have sketchy backgrounds anyway. On that note, Child Emperor explains that they still don't have all the dirt on the monsters. Just one traitor or a tiny mistake could ruin everything. Child Emperor basically says, look, Genos is the new kid on the block and we're not ready to hand him the keys just yet. His presence in City Z raises too many eyebrows. Second Gall asks if he's worried and suggests confronting Genos directly, but Child Emperor thinks that's a bad idea. He figures they shouldn't spill any details about their mission and suggests leaving Genos out of it for now. They can't afford any risks, so Genos has to prove himself through some real action first. Child Emperor thinks it over and eventually agrees with the plan. Silver Fang is also in on this operation since Garou, his old student, has a connection to the Monster Association. The Hero Association sees this as a potential weakness for Silver Fang that could mess with his focus in a fight. Second Gall agrees and asks if they need King, to which Child Emperor confirms since he's their main fighter. Second Gall then updates Sitch directly. Sitch listens closely, shocked by what he hears, but he's determined to go through with the mission. Second Gall decides that if any S-Class heroes can't make it, they'll fill in those gaps with solid fighters from classes A to C to make sure the mission doesn't flop. It's a risky operation, and they know survival isn't guaranteed, but every pro hero has to accept some risk. That's what Second Gall tells himself. Sitch is worried they could lose heroes to injuries or worse, but Second Gall thinks that with a hostage's life on the line, some sacrifices can't be avoided. Second Gall gets where Sitch is coming from but has his own thoughts. He remembers the old prophecy about the Monster Association rising under the Earth Dome, and now that old warning feels real. Ignoring it? That could mean the end of humanity. For the Hero Association, this battle is everything right now. Winning would finally break the fear brought on by that prophecy. Second Gall insists on sticking to the plan and keeping everything under wraps, even from Silver Fang and the others involved. Meanwhile, back at Saitama's apartment, the hot pot is bubbling wildly, and everyone's gathered around looking serious. When it's finally ready, everyone grabs their chopsticks and dives in all at once. It turns into total chaos. Food goes flying everywhere as they scramble for their share like it's a free-for-all. Saitama is losing it over the mess. Blizzard tries to snag some meat from Saitama, but Genos intercepts her with all the intensity of someone defending humanity itself. Silver valiantly reminds everyone that Hot Pot is supposed to be about sharing, while simultaneously hoarding every last piece of tofu within arm's reach. Saitama watches the whole scene unfold, trying to keep things in check, but nobody's listening. The fight over the hot pot gets louder and crazier, turning the whole room into a food frenzy. Dr. Kuseno sits back and watches, amused by the chaos. Seeing Genos lose his cool actually makes him smile. For the first time, Genos seems to fit in, acting less like a machine and more like one of the gang. Kuseno feels a sense of pride watching him build real connections with everyone. Amid all this, Silver Fang is reflecting on his student's downfall. Garou's failure is heavy on his mind, and he quietly wonders where his teaching went wrong. Meanwhile, Saitama stays totally calm, unaffected by all the noise, just focused on wrapping up the hot pot. The chaotic meal drags on until poor King finally passes out from exhaustion after that intense hot pot showdown. Meanwhile, Garou finally shows up at the Monster Association's base. The monsters pick up on his presence right away and go on high alert. Standing at the entrance, he can feel this thick, dark vibe hanging in the air. His instincts tell him that members of the Hero Association might be lurking nearby, trying to be sneaky. He tells his monsters to scout the area thoroughly and get rid of any potential threats. The next morning, Saitama wakes King up and tells him it's time to head home. King takes out the garbage and steps into the quiet streets. As he walks through the empty ghost town of City Z, he takes a deep breath of the still air. It feels peaceful now that Saitama's been around and has cleared the place of monsters. Still, King can't shake this nagging feeling that some monsters are still hiding in the shadows, just waiting for the right moment to pounce. After tossing the trash, King makes his way to his apartment. When he gets to the building entrance, members of the Hero Association are already there waiting for him. As soon as they find out his transmitter got messed up during the fight and that he was last seen in City Z, they jump to conclusions, thinking he spent the whole night battling monsters. The bloodstains on his clothes just add to their wild assumptions about his epic fight with Seung, which makes it all even crazier. King tries to explain that the stains are just from the hot pot, not from any monsters, but no one wants to hear him out. Without wasting a second, the Hero Association whisks him away for a quick debrief. Everything feels like it's happening too fast, and he doesn't really have a choice but to go along with it. Meanwhile, Narinki is super worried. Captain Tongara said he'd check in every couple of hours, but he hasn't heard a word all night. His elite squad, the best of the best, armed to the teeth, has gone totally silent. The thought of their failure hits him hard. If even his strongest team can get taken down, then the heroes could be in serious trouble too. Narinki's been up all night, with Sekingal telling him to get some rest, but he just can't relax. The thought of his son being in danger haunts him, and he feels completely hopeless after losing his elite team. Still, he's ready to do anything to save his kid. Soon enough, the S-class heroes start rolling in one by one. They calmly tell Narinki they're not in it for the cash or any rewards. Hunting monsters is just part of what they do, and they're determined to save his son and wrap up this whole mess. Child Emperor quickly figures out where the Monster Association is hiding and lets everyone know that they're all set to move in. King and the backup team are gearing up to make their move soon. They plan to launch a full-on attack in the afternoon, with the heroes heading straight for the Monster Association's base to rescue the hostage without wasting any time. Tornado tells Narinki to take a breather and reassures him that the heroes will take care of things from here. Narinki, feeling tense and exhausted, leaves the room with heavy footsteps, his heart still racing. Once he's out, the S-class heroes gather around to plan their strategy. Child Emperor spreads a detailed map of the ghost town on the table and explains that the Monster Association has several entry points. Each hero has to take a different route to get in, since sticking together could get them wiped out in one hit. He hands out transmitters so everyone can keep track of each other during the mission. The main goal is to rescue the boys safely, so they need to avoid unnecessary fights. They agree to keep combat short and lean on the backup team outside. If any monsters try to escape, the backup team will take care of them before they can get into the city. Sekingal mentions that the backup squad is made up of heroes strong enough to handle tiger-level threats. Tornado pipes up, asking if her younger sister Blizzard is also involved. When Sekingal confirms it, Tornado's expression suddenly turns serious. She warns him never to put her sister in danger or she won't forgive him. Sekingal quickly agrees, not wanting to argue. Meanwhile, deep in the Monster Association's base, Ripper approaches Narinki's son and Tereo. The boy thinks he might finally be let go, but Ripper just wants to play with him, his own messed up way. Tereo, scared out of his mind, keeps calling for the heroes to help him. Ripper smirks, knowing that the Hero Association is only focused on rescuing Narinki's son. Nobody even knows Tereo is stuck there. Forgotten in the base? That cruel truth leaves the boy feeling hopeless and terrified. Further into the tunnels, a few other monsters start sensing something off. They find their own kind torn apart and scattered on the ground. Panic sets in as they realize that an intruder who hates monsters has entered their turf. The horrifying scene makes it clear. Garou has arrived. Tereo keeps screaming for help while Ripper just watches him suffer. The boy can't understand why this is happening. Finally, Ripper explains calmly and chillingly that he's a monster who lives for the thrill of killing. To him, the whole war between monsters and humans doesn't mean anything. Power, control, or being a leader? He doesn't care about any of that. All he wants is bloodshed. That's what keeps him alive. His obsession with Tereo grows darker and more twisted. He steps closer, planning to cut off Tereo's tongue. The boy screams louder, terrified and helpless, praying for someone to come to his rescue. Out of nowhere, a wall explodes with a loud crash. Garou bursts through the debris and stands in front of them. Ripper immediately charges, swinging his blades, but Garou is faster. He smashes the weapon with one hit and takes Ripper down hard, dislocating the monster's neck in the process. Garou's power surges again. He twists his arm and delivers a brutal blow that rips through Ripper's body, tearing it apart completely. The monster collapses, lifeless. Garou turns to Tereo and tells him to come out from hiding. The boy stares at him in disbelief as he stands in the wreckage. Garou coldly tells him to let go. Garou's not done evolving, and neither are we. If you felt that rush, smash like, drop a comment on your favorite moment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of his monster hunting redemption. New One Punch Man recaps every week, because heroes may fall, but legends always rise.